The Galactic Empire, an alliance of the most advanced alien civilizations, hovered above Earth, their massive ships blotting out the sun. Commanders, confident in their superiority, viewed the blue planet through disdainful lenses, dismissing its inhabitants as primitive and inconsequential. The invasion was a mere formality, a step in their grand design of expansion. They envisioned conquering Earth as a swift and effortless task, an easy victory to add to their illustrious history. In a military command center on Earth, alarms blared, illuminating the faces of concerned officers. Intelligence reports flooded in, confirming the impending assault. Intercepted communications revealed the Empire's plans, sending shockwaves through humanity's leadership. The tension in the room was palpable, as seasoned strategists weighed their options. They could deploy elite forces, high-tech weaponry, and advanced defense systems, but they chose a different route. The decision was made to send their weakest soldiers, the underdogs, the misfits, those who had faced adversity in various forms. The commanding officer looked around the room, his expression a mix of determination and conviction. "We are not sending our best," he stated firmly. "We are sending the ones who understand survival. They know what it means to fight against the odds." Among the soldiers selected was Sergeant Maya Rodriguez, a veteran of harsh urban warfare, who had survived countless battles against both gangs and corrupt military units. Alongside her was Corporal Jean Lee, a sharpshooter who had grown up in the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, adept at utilizing his surroundings. Private Tomas Rivera, a mechanic-turned-soldier, had always felt out of place but possessed a knack for improvisation. Each had been overlooked for their lack of traditional qualifications, but they had qualities that the alien invaders had not prepared for: sheer resilience, adaptability, and the instinct to survive. As the alien ships began their descent, the humans prepared for war in their own unique way. They gathered in the woods, blending into the natural environment. Rather than waiting for the aliens to strike, they devised a plan of ambush. Their weapons, though rudimentary compared to the advanced technology of the Galactic Empire, were enhanced by creativity. Maya led the group, explaining how to set traps using their surroundings, emphasizing the importance of stealth and precision. "Remember," she urged her fellow soldiers, "they think we're weak. That's our advantage. They underestimate us, and we can use that against them." The others nodded, fueled by her conviction. They fashioned makeshift weapons, utilizing every scrap of metal, wood, and cord they could find. They constructed traps in the underbrush, hidden from sight, ready to ensnare any unsuspecting alien troops. The moment arrived when the alien forces breached the atmosphere, landing with a thunderous crash. The commanders expected minimal resistance, their confidence unshakable. As they disembarked, they were met with an eerie silence, punctuated only by the rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds. The human soldiers lay in wait, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and adrenaline. As the aliens moved forward, their sleek armor glinting under the sun, Maya signaled her team. They sprang into action, executing their plan with surprising coordination. The first trap was triggered. An alien soldier stumbled into a hidden pit, disappearing from view with a startled cry. Confusion erupted among the invaders, their advanced training faltering as panic set in. Jean took advantage of the chaos, positioning himself behind a tree, his rifle aimed steady. He fired, the bullet striking true, taking out an alien scout. The soldiers were not equipped with energy shields or high-powered blasters, but their primitive firearms and unorthodox tactics were proving effective. The aliens were disoriented, struggling to regain control as Maya and her team engaged in guerrilla warfare. With each ambush, the humans exploited their surroundings. They set off small explosions, using makeshift grenades crafted from supplies scavenged from their base. Each explosion echoed through the woods, a reminder to the alien forces that they were not facing a weak opponent, but a determined group willing to fight for their home. The alien commanders, once brimming with confidence, began to doubt their underestimation of humanity. As the skirmish unfolded, the human soldiers found themselves working as a cohesive unit. They communicated silently, sharing glances that conveyed understanding and intent. Tomas, despite his previous insecurities, took charge of coordinating the next trap. We need to lure them into the valley, he suggested. The others agreed, rallying around his idea. They devised a new plan, using bait to attract the aliens into a narrow passage lined with hidden snares. With careful timing, they executed the maneuver flawlessly, drawing several aliens into the trap. The soldiers watched in disbelief as their opponents struggled, ensnared by ropes and nets, their advanced technology rendered ineffective in the face of Earth's familiar terrain. The tide was turning. As the last remnants of the alien advance crumbled under the onslaught of human ingenuity, the surviving soldiers felt a surge of pride. Their initial fear transformed into a fierce determination. They were no longer the overlooked and underestimated. They were warriors, defenders of their home, capable of standing against the might of the Galactic Empire. Back in the command center, the mood shifted dramatically as reports of victories poured in. The leaders had prepared for a disastrous retreat, but instead, they celebrated the unexpected triumphs of their weakest soldiers. The news reverberated through the military, instilling a newfound hope. Humanity, often considered the underdogs in the cosmic order, had shown that they were more than what others perceived. As the final echoes of battle faded into the distance, the alien commanders began to understand the true nature of their foe. They had not only underestimated the humans but had failed to recognize the spirit of a species that would fight against all odds. The ground beneath their feet trembled with the weight of their arrogance, and the Galactic Empire's first assault on Earth was turning into a farce. Maya, Jean, Tomas, and the others gathered to reflect on their victories. They were exhausted but exhilarated, having proven that humanity's strength lay not in technology or brute force but in resilience and unity. They had become a force to be reckoned with, and the war was far from over. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake, one that would reverberate through the cosmos for generations to come. As dawn broke over the battlefield, the remnants of the Galactic Empire's forces were in disarray. Reports of the unexpected human resistance spread quickly among the alien ranks, transforming confidence into confusion. The Empire's commanders, who had once scoffed at the notion of humans posing a threat, now faced a growing unease. The underestimation of humanity was proving disastrous, as their so-called weakest soldiers executed unconventional warfare tactics with surprising efficiency. Maya Rodriguez and her team regrouped in a makeshift camp deep within the forest. They shared supplies and exchanged stories of their encounters, bonding over their shared victories. Jean Lee, wiping the sweat from his brow, began discussing their next move. "We need to keep the pressure on them," he said, his tone serious. "They've seen what we can do, and we can't give them a chance to regroup." Tomas Rivera nodded, his excitement bubbling over. "We've got the element of surprise. Let's use it to our advantage. We can set up more traps, draw them into the open." The soldiers shared a collective sense of determination, each soldier eager to contribute to their growing momentum. Maya glanced around at her comrades, feeling an unexpected sense of pride swell within her. "We know their tactics," she said, emphasizing her point. "They rely on superior technology and training, but we've already shown them that Earth's environments can be their downfall. Let's exploit that." With a newfound resolve, the group set out to scout the perimeter of their territory. They mapped out the alien encampment, noting the positions of sentries and the layout of their makeshift defenses. As they moved through the dense foliage, they could see the alien forces gathering, panic palpable in their ranks. The humans had managed to turn the tables, instilling fear where there had once been confidence. Back at the alien command center, the mood was grim. Commanders convened to assess their situation. High-ranking officials voiced their disbelief, grappling with the shocking truth: humanity had become an unpredictable adversary. Commander Zorath, a towering figure with a reputation for ruthlessness, slammed his fist on the table, sending a holographic map scattering. "We underestimated them," he barked. "These primitive creatures are more dangerous than we anticipated." His second-in-command, a sleek reptilian officer named Vekthar, tried to regain control of the meeting. "We must adapt our strategies. Send in heavier reinforcements and technological support. If we can overwhelm them, we can reclaim our advantage." Yet, the unease in the room was palpable, whispers of dissent filling the air. doubts began to surface about the Empire's superiority. Back in the forest, Maya's team continued their preparations. They devised intricate traps, using the terrain to their advantage. The soldiers were becoming increasingly skilled at utilizing their environment, crafting devices that exploited the aliens' lack of familiarity with Earth's flora and fauna. They fashioned snares from vines, built noise traps from metal scraps, and even used local wildlife to their advantage, setting bait that would draw the aliens into vulnerable positions. That evening, they put their plan into action. The team moved stealthily through the underbrush, their hearts racing with anticipation. They drew the aliens deeper into the woods, creating a series of distractions that led them into a carefully constructed trap zone. Each step was a calculated risk, but the adrenaline fueled their determination. As the alien patrols approached, Maya signaled her team. They activated their traps with precision. A series of explosions echoed through the trees, scattering alien soldiers in every direction. Mud pits concealed beneath foliage swallowed the unprepared, while others were ensnared in the snare traps, immobilized by ropes that were quickly tied by the agile humans. Jean took aim from a concealed vantage point, his eyes narrowed as he fired at the disoriented aliens. One by one, the invaders fell, their advanced weaponry proving ineffective against the relentless ambush tactics of the human soldiers. The chaos of the ambush threw the aliens into a panic, causing them to flee in disarray. The tide of battle shifted dramatically. As the dust settled, Maya and her team gathered, surveying their handiwork. The alien forces, once a formidable threat, were now retreating, their ranks shattered and morale crumbling. They had underestimated the ingenuity and adaptability of their opponents, and the consequences were becoming evident. Among the chaos, a message spread through the alien ranks. Earth is a death world. The phrase resonated as fear took hold. Stories of humans who fought with a fierce spirit and an unyielding will began to circulate. Soldiers whispered of the uncanny ability of their opponents to turn the environment against them, of the traps laid in wait, and the ingenious tactics that confounded their elite forces. The Galactic Empire, once poised for victory, now faced the prospect of defeat. Desertions began to occur. Alien soldiers, terrified of the unknown, started abandoning their posts. Vecthar, now fully aware of the impact of the human resistance, felt the grip of dread tightening around him. The Empire's elite forces, bred for battle and trained in the harshest conditions, now found themselves at the mercy of an enemy they had never fully respected. Back at their camp, Maya's team celebrated their latest victory. They had become a cohesive unit, bound by shared experiences and a common purpose. As they recounted the day's events, laughter and camaraderie filled the air. They were no longer just soldiers. They were warriors, individuals who had risen from the shadows of their past to become symbols of hope for humanity. As night fell, they gathered around a small fire, the glow illuminating their faces. They spoke of their dreams, their lives before the war, and what they hoped for the future. Each story deepened their bond, transforming their fear into strength. They were fighting not just for survival but for a future where humanity could thrive free from the threat of oppression. Meanwhile, on the other side of the conflict, the Galactic Empire reeled from the devastating blow to their forces. The once great commanders who had regarded Earth as an insignificant dot in the galaxy now questioned their assumptions. Reports of the human victories flooded in, each more astonishing than the last. The tables had turned, and they were now confronted with the undeniable truth: humanity was a force to be reckoned with. As the night deepened, a sense of foreboding settled over the alien commanders. They recognized the urgent need to adapt, to recalibrate their strategies in light of the formidable human resistance. The arrogance that had clouded their judgment began to evaporate, replaced by a dawning realization that they had awakened a sleeping giant. The Galactic Empire had made their move, and humanity, led by their underdogs, was ready to counterattack. The battle for Earth was far from over, and the true nature of the conflict was only beginning to unfold. The humans had ignited a fire that could not be easily extinguished, and the Galactic Empire was about to learn that underestimating Earth's inhabitants would cost them dearly. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon, illuminating the battlefield strewn with remnants of the Galactic Empire's forces. The once proud alien soldiers, accustomed to dominating lesser civilizations, were now reeling from defeat. Each skirmish with the humans had left them bewildered, and their morale plummeted. Commander Zorath, staring at the holographic map of the area, slammed his fist down in frustration. "These humans are proving to be a thorn in our side," he growled. "They've turned our own tactics against us." Vekthar, ever the strategist, noted the increasing reports of desertions among their ranks. "The fear is palpable, Commander. Our soldiers speak of the humans in whispers, calling Earth a death world. This is not the psychological advantage we expected to have." Zorath paced, frustration mounting. "What are we to do? We must crush their spirit, show them their resistance is futile. We need to re-establish our dominance." Meanwhile, on the human side, the atmosphere was electric with hope and determination. Maya's team had become a symbol of resilience. Each victory galvanized not only their own spirits, but also the hearts of other soldiers scattered across Earth. News of their unconventional tactics and ingenuity spread through the ranks, inspiring more misfits and underdogs to join the fight. The media celebrated their efforts, highlighting the bravery of the soldiers who fought not just with weapons, but with their wits and a fierce resolve. In the makeshift camp, plans were drawn up for their next offensive. "We need to draw them out further," Jean suggested, his eyes alight with fervor. "If we can bait them into the more populated areas, we can use urban warfare to our advantage. We know these streets, these buildings. They're just a bunch of arrogant invaders." The others nodded, their collective spirit rising as they discussed strategies to turn the tide further in their favor. They planned to use the abandoned buildings and hidden alleyways of a nearby town to execute ambushes. Tomas proposed utilizing traps that could lead the aliens into dead ends, where they could be overwhelmed. "Imagine their faces when they realize they're surrounded by humans, not just in the jungle but in their own territory." The group laughed, the camaraderie solidifying their resolve. They had transitioned from being considered weak to becoming a formidable unit, feared by the invaders. As night fell, Maya and her team stealthily moved toward the outskirts of the targeted town. Each soldier felt the adrenaline coursing through their veins as they set up their traps and prepared their ambushes. "Stay sharp," Maya reminded them. "We know the plan, but they'll be on high alert now. We must outsmart them." The soldiers nodded, feeling the weight of their responsibility, but equally invigorated by their mission. Meanwhile, Vekthar gathered the remaining alien troops, attempting to instill a sense of unity in the face of adversity. "We have faced setbacks, yes, but we are not defeated. We must show these humans what true power looks like," he urged, trying to reignite the fighting spirit in his men. "We will strike back with precision. They rely on chaos. We will bring order to this battlefield." However, the seeds of doubt had been sown. Alien soldiers glanced at one another, memories of the humans' relentless tactics flooding their minds. As Vekthar spoke, whispers of uncertainty rippled through the crowd. "What if they are stronger than we think? What if this is just the beginning of our losses?" One soldier's voice broke the silence, echoing the fears that lingered in the hearts of many. As the humans prepared for their ambush, they positioned themselves strategically around the town, utilizing rooftops, alleys, and hidden spots to their advantage. The darkness enveloped them, cloaking their movements as they awaited the alien patrols. "Remember the plan," Maya whispered, her heart racing. "We lure them in, then strike. Together." As the first alien troops entered the town, the humans sprang into action. Jean triggered the first trap, causing a series of loud explosions that shattered the stillness of the night. Chaos erupted as the aliens stumbled into the open, confusion etched across their faces. Maya led her team in an aggressive advance, utilizing their knowledge of the terrain to ambush the disoriented soldiers. They utilized the element of surprise flawlessly, striking from above and the shadows. Each human soldier moved with purpose, executing their plans with precision. The alien forces quickly found themselves outmaneuvered and overwhelmed, caught off guard by the ferocity of their opponents. The humans didn't just fight, they thrived in the disorder, turning the urban landscape into a deadly playground for their guerrilla tactics. As the battle raged on, reports began to circulate among the alien ranks that this was not merely an uprising, it was a full-scale rebellion. The underdogs were rallying, and the Galactic Empire was losing control. Vekthar's attempts to maintain order crumbled under the pressure of constant human attacks. The Empire's forces were no longer just fighting against a perceived weakling. They were facing a united front, fueled by anger and a fierce desire for survival. The urban warfare continued late into the night, with the sounds of explosions and chaos echoing through the town. The humans had adapted to their surroundings in ways the aliens had never anticipated. Traps were hidden everywhere, designed to exploit the aliens' technological reliance and superior firepower. With each fallen soldier, the psychological toll grew heavier on the alien forces. Maya, witnessing her team's success, felt a surge of pride. They were defying expectations, proving that humanity's greatest strength lay in its resilience and ability to adapt. "Keep pushing!" she shouted, rallying her team. "We have them on the run!" As dawn approached, the first light of morning revealed the wreckage of the battle. The aliens had retreated, many abandoning their weapons and armor in their panic. Maya's team emerged victorious, but they knew the fight was far from over. Word of their success spread rapidly, emboldening other human forces to rise up against their oppressors. The message was clear: Earth was no longer a target but a battleground where the humans would fight for their freedom. Back in the alien command center, Zorath faced the ramifications of their defeat. His pride had been shattered, and the reality of the situation was becoming increasingly clear. The underestimation of humanity had led to chaos, and the Empire's grip on Earth was slipping away. "We cannot allow this to continue," he declared. "We must regroup and prepare for an all-out assault. We will not be beaten by these humans." But deep down, even Zorath began to question the Empire's path forward. The strength of the human spirit was undeniable, and the resolve of their soldiers could not be easily extinguished. The tide of battle had shifted, and the Galactic Empire now faced a formidable enemy, one that fought not just for survival, but for the very essence of humanity. The war had just begun, and both sides would soon learn the true meaning of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The battlefield lay strewn with the remnants of a conflict that had escalated far beyond anyone's expectations. As dawn broke over the wreckage of the town, the dust began to settle, revealing the chaotic aftermath of humanity's bold stand. Soldiers moved through the debris, gathering what they could of their fallen comrades while tending to the wounded. Maya felt a mix of pride and grief as she looked at the faces around her, some celebrating their victories while others mourned their losses. Word spread quickly through the ranks that they had not only won a battle but had also shaken the very foundation of the Galactic Empire's perception of humanity. Maya rallied her team to discuss their next moves. "We've proven that we can outsmart them. Now we need to keep the momentum going," she urged, her voice steady. "We can't let them regroup and come back stronger. We have to strike while they're still reeling." The group nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. In the alien command center, Commander Zorath faced the remnants of his once mighty force. The reports of defeat were staggering, and his confidence waned. "This isn't a simple rebellion anymore," he said, pacing angrily. "We underestimated these humans, and now they think they can win. We have to regroup and rethink our strategy." Vekthar, observing the chaos, stepped forward. "Commander, the longer we delay, the stronger they become. We must crush them now, while they are still disoriented." Meanwhile, the humans began to fortify their positions in the aftermath of the battle. Maya's team established communication with other resistance groups, sharing tactics and experiences. They realized they had tapped into a well of unity among the diverse human populations. "If we can coordinate our efforts, we'll become an unstoppable force," Jean suggested. The team began strategizing how to combine their resources with those of others who had risen against the Empire. As the days passed, the psychological warfare continued to escalate. The aliens began spreading rumors among their ranks about the terrifying nature of human warfare. "They fight like rabid beasts," one soldier exclaimed, recalling the ambushes they had faced. "They do not follow the rules of engagement. They will do anything to win." This fear began to sow discord among the alien troops, leading to increased instances of desertion and reluctance to engage in direct confrontation. The humans seized this opportunity to expand their influence. Maya led her team on a series of raids against supply lines, cutting off the resources that the Galactic Empire relied on. Each successful operation further emboldened humanity's spirit. They were no longer seen as the weak underdogs. They were becoming warriors, skilled in their tactics and resolute in their purpose. With every victory, they dismantled the myth of the Empire's superiority, one small victory at a time. Amidst the growing successes, Zorath and Vecthar were forced to confront the reality of their situation. "We need to re-establish command and demonstrate our power," Zorath insisted, his voice trembling with anger. "If we can capture a human leader, it might break their resolve." Vecthar nodded, recognizing the potential in this plan. "We can use deception to lure them out. If we create the illusion of vulnerability, they will come to us." The Galactic Empire began implementing this new strategy, using holograms and misinformation to draw the humans into a trap. They broadcasted a message claiming a temporary ceasefire, inviting humanity to negotiate for the safe return of any captured soldiers. Maya, ever vigilant, discussed the offer with her team. "This could be a trap," she warned. "But we can't ignore the possibility of saving our people. We need to approach this with caution." The tension hung in the air as they debated their next move. "If it is a trap, we'll have our best people on standby to respond," Tomas proposed. The team weighed the risks and ultimately decided that they needed to take the chance. "We can't show fear," Maya asserted. "That's exactly what they want. We go in prepared and unified. We need to demonstrate that we're stronger together." When the day of the supposed negotiations arrived, Maya and her team approached the meeting point with trepidation. They kept their weapons concealed but stayed alert, prepared for anything. As they neared the designated area, they spotted the alien representatives waiting, their expressions unreadable. The tension crackled in the air as Maya took a deep breath and stepped forward, flanked by her comrades. "What do you want?" Maya demanded, her voice steady despite the uncertainty. The alien diplomat spoke, their tone condescending. "We seek to negotiate the release of your captured soldiers. We have no desire for further conflict if we can avoid it." Maya studied their faces, sensing the underlying tension. "You're lying," she said sharply. "You think we're stupid enough to trust you? What's the catch?" The alien diplomat smiled coolly. "No catch, human. Just an opportunity for peace." But as he spoke, Vecthar and Zorath watched from a concealed position, waiting for the right moment to strike. The plan was to wait until the humans let their guard down, then spring the trap and capture their leader. Maya glanced at her team, exchanging knowing looks. They felt the weight of the moment. Suddenly, the sky lit up with blaring alarms. The ruse was revealed, an ambush. Maya shouted commands. "Fall back! Prepare for engagement!" The air erupted with energy as the alien forces moved in, revealing their hidden troops. The humans quickly regrouped, their instincts kicking in as they fought back against the overwhelming odds. "Remember what we've learned!" Maya yelled, leading the charge. "Use the environment! Use your training!" Her words resonated as her team sprang into action, executing the tactics that had brought them success in the past. The humans fought with a ferocity that caught the aliens off guard. They were not the weak beings the Empire had expected. They were warriors, fighting for their freedom and their planet. As the battle raged on, chaos ensued. The humans employed every trick they had learned, setting traps and creating diversions. Jean used his knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the aliens, guiding his team through alleys and hidden pathways. "They can't keep up with us," he shouted, rallying the troops as they pushed back against the encroaching enemy. Zorath, caught in the turmoil, tried to regain control. "Fall back! We need to regroup!" But the alien forces were in disarray. Their confidence had been shattered, and as reports of desertions flooded in, the realization dawned on them. They were fighting against something they could not fully comprehend. The humans had tapped into a primal force of survival that was driving them forward. As the dust began to settle, it became clear that the Galactic Empire's strategy had failed miserably. The humans had thwarted their plans, demonstrating an uncanny ability to adapt and overcome. The tide had turned, and the Empire faced a growing rebellion that threatened to unravel everything they had built. In the aftermath of the ambush, the humans regrouped, celebrating their hard-won victory. Maya stood before her team, feeling the pride swell within her. "We did it! We turned their trap against them. We showed them that we are not to be underestimated." Cheers erupted as the reality of their triumph sank in. They were no longer just survivors. They had become a force to be reckoned with. As the sun set over the battlefield, illuminating the remnants of both sides, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The bond forged in adversity had transformed them into a cohesive unit, a family bound by a shared purpose. They had faced the Empire's might and emerged stronger, proving that humanity was anything but weak. In the Galactic Command Center, Zorath and Vecthar convened, their spirits crushed under the weight of defeat. "We cannot keep this up," Zorath admitted, fear creeping into his voice. "We are losing control, and these humans fight with a tenacity we did not expect." Vecthar nodded gravely, understanding that the reality of their situation was dire. "We must reconsider our approach. Perhaps it is time to negotiate from a position of humility." The humbling realization hung heavily in the air. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, and now they faced the consequences of their arrogance. As the aliens began to plot their next move, the humans celebrated their hard-won freedom, unaware of the approaching shift in the tides of war. In the coming days, both sides would confront the realities of their existence. The Galactic Empire would learn to respect the strength of the humans they had deemed weak, while humanity would continue to rally under the banner of resilience and unity. A new chapter in the saga of Earth was about to unfold, one where the stakes were higher than ever, and the battle for survival had only just begun.